Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Took the kids on vacation for 5 days. Rant note, I also posted this in another form just a minute ago. New to both, so not sure if that's appropriate. Took my 3 kids to Florida on vacation for 5 days. Caught my wife on the Ring doorbell bringing a dude into the house on our first night away. She denied everything. She told me it was a new woman from work. However, it looked like a guy. I confronted her over the doorbell and she said it was a lesbian that was new to her clinic. However, strangely, she suspiciously changes undershirts between times I'm seeing her on the doorbell letting the dog out. I was still very suspicious. I spent 5 days of feeling sick around 3 teenagers and not wanting to mention why. Eventually, after 2 weeks of questioning, I busted open her phone. Found a 2-week hardcore sex romp where she was even emailing the a-hole videos of her masturbating in my living room. Their commentary is filled with very twisted sex talk. Almost all anal sex and S&M, no judgment, if you're into that thing. Lots of talk about if I'm going to figure it out or not. Finally figured it out. Called the guy from her phone and called him a ducking asshole. We've been married for 10 years. She lost her son 3 years ago. And has been delving into alcoholism ever since. The guy is from AA and supposedly one of the leaders there. One of their main things is not to allow dating of people in crisis. Apparently to this moron it doesn't matter. Sick to my stomach. But nothing anyone can do about it. She's now asking for a divorce. Just sharing my misery. And praising the wonderful Ring doorbell system. Peace. Update, the 3rd of April, god damn it. I spent the last 3 days trying to get back together with her. A few hours ago she told me she was only trying to calm me down and still wants a divorce. She's been driving me crazy by sleeping in my room. Tonight I chased her out tonight by being a jerk. I was reading her texts to the other guy back to her. Very douchey of me. Now I'm alone in our bedroom. I don't know if I'm being gaslighted or what, because somehow I'm feeling guilty about what she did. Me being an asshole seems to prove that my attempt to get back together was just a scam on my part. When really my emotions are just all over the place. Edited to remove an offending quote. Same thing happened to my colleague. His wife was alcoholic. She started to go to AA and she started affair with her group leader. Affair lasted for few months. He drained her of thousands of dollars. Check your account if you share finances. Due to alcoholism and a few other things. She's never even seen one of my checks. She's maybe not as bad as I'm making her sound. But part of her is. She's also working and has her own money. Just waiting for her to get caught drinking as a nurse. Bad is in the eye of the beholder. Any substance abuse problem is a very big problem. People end up in prison over the things they do, get involved in during an issue with substances. She wouldn't have met the jackass if she didn't have the alcohol issues. And the truth of an alcoholic is incredibly untrustworthy. And that is a fact. If she wants booze, and can't get it, she will get it, even if she has to steal it. No trust. And now she has added more to her bad. You could refer her anonymously to whatever nurse monitoring program your state has. They would take her off work for an evaluation period and make her take drug and alcohol tests randomly. If it went further, she would be monitored for longer and it would essentially, at the stake of her RN license, force her to be sober and in therapeutic groups and counseling. I only suggest this thinking of the kids and their relationship with her. Good, give her the divorce she and ask for the children to be with you. Tell the children what she's done and ask them if they want to live with you. Then go to the AA leader and tell him what happened. Yeah, 2 of the kids are mine no matter what. My stepson is hers, but I'm friends with their dad. So I'll be able to see him through the other family. I just don't want to leave him alone with a woman who's been drinking every day for 2 to 3 years. I've been the only stability. Alcoholic mom drinking every day should be an easy custody win if you want it. Chat to the dad about you two doing shared care and mum getting visits when sober. I agree, report them to AA. And I'm so sorry for you. Yes, the leader won't be a leader much longer. Cheating aside, I hope you reported him. He's a predator who's clearly going after those in a vulnerable position. Plus it completely undermines AA. Just out of curiosity, how would you do such a thing? Because it is kind of F. It's not fun. You're absolutely pointing out a legal issue. AA is an organization that can be sued like any other for sexual harassment, and the press around that sucks. So you're probably saving another person from this same shit later. If this guy is doing this, it's probably a pattern, and that makes him a predator in my book. It's one thing to sit in a bar and try to pick up married women. It's a whole other level trying to talk them out of alcoholism and into their pants because you're in a position of power and they are vulnerable. Creepers at AA who 13-step people suck. Some other people are saying there's no leadership in AA. Anyone know if that's true? I know this guy was running meetings or something. Maybe direct your question to the subreddit. I'm not a member of AA, but given the blatant conflict of interest and abuse of power, you'd think they'd be against having a leader do this. r/Alcoholics Anonymous/ Oh yeah, this is in no way representative of Alcoholics Anonymous as an organization. Unfortunately, some people are sicker than others, and there are absolutely people willing to take advantage of newly sober people. It is absolutely not encouraged, and no one worth their salt would be happy with this man for doing this. People volunteer to chair meetings, which means do the setup and the intro and the closing and the breakdown. There is no group leader. See my other comment. I'm in AA for 19 years, and old timers sometimes are put on pedestals just for having time. Gotcha. As far as I know, we're getting a divorce. So it's not really even about saving my marriage or revenge. It's about making sure everyone knows this guy is into the sort of stuff. The guy is a creep and will pay when you report his sick ass. AA is devoted to helping people, not taking advantage of them. Keep us posted. Agreed, and I've heard a few of these old timers pulling the 13th step on the newer recovering peeps. Yeah, it can be tricky. From what I've seen, AA is indeed loosely organized, with fairly independent chapters. However, there is always a structure within any organization/community to make members accountable. Based on my quick research, it appears that chapters are supposed to have a chairperson, secretary, and treasurer. Assuming the AP is the chairperson, inform the other two of what he's doing, that it is explicitly against their own rules, and ask how they will be proceeding. Another option is informing whatever building hosts the AA meetings. They may have sway and be able to remove or suspend him. If they move, let the next location owner know. A third option is to inform the members themselves. You could go to a meeting, or stand outside at the start or end of a meeting, and inform the participants of their leader's behavior. This obviously can get messy, so you'll want to be prepared. Regardless, I'd say handle your situation/divorce first. If she is still in the affair fog and wanting to be with him, then this is when you will get the best outcomes in your divorce negotiations. You'll have the chance to hold him accountable in due course. I'm now getting a little nervous about saying he's in leadership. That's only what I kind of gleaned from everything. If he is just some normal alcoholic that has connections, it's probably not worth the effort. But I have thought of going to meetings just to out him. Please take some time to watch the documentary, The 13th Step. It'll give you an idea of what you are dealing with. Damn, I'm psyched. I can't believe there's something like that. I just saw it out. Pretty wild. Go to Al-Anon, or Coda. Those people will have your back. Only go to his AA meeting if you're okay fighting a dude who's potentially pretty battle-worthy and potentially has a pile of unemployed friends hanging around smoking cigarettes outside. The people there will not take your side. It's a group that supports alcoholics. If OP does it right, most would probably shun him. One can hope. At least other women in the group would know he's a predator. True, some would say there is no hierarchy, but old-timers wind up in unofficial positions of power by default. When they have addictions to drugs/alcohol, it always seems to eventually go sideways. She'll sober up and want her life back. Take a hard pass and save yourself the future pain. It's not a matter of if it happens again, but when. Relapse is fairly common. Yeah, I agree, that's the hard part. I'm trying to save the family, but I know it's a life of pain. Mostly on me. They trade one addiction for another. This time it was her instructor, next time it'll be the neighbor. You don't need that in your life. Take care of you and the kids, and down the road find yourself a good woman. Get divorced. Let the people in AA know what he did so he gets kicked out. Get her as far away from the kids as you can while she self-spirals. There's no background check at the door of an AA meeting. Pretty much any alcoholic or drug addict is welcome. Unfortunately, you can't get kicked out of AA. You can get asked to not attend specific meetings. If it's a clubhouse, the info should be available on the local intergroup page /call intergroup. Call her AA sponsor. Dude who she is cheating with needs to be outed, and hire a divorce attorney. What she did wasn't a mistake. It was a very long series of conscious choices to betray you and lie to you. That requires contempt, and no marriage can survive contempt. Yeah, I could see the contempt on the doorbell video as she walks in the house, laughing about "I'm not home." Just understand that you didn't do this and you don't deserve this. The only thing worse than finding out you're being cheated on is taking several more years to find out. Move on with your life, brother. Yeah, thanks again to the Ring doorbell. That video tells the story like no other. I'd show up at the AA meeting with the kids. Ask the group how you should handle it. I'm curious as to why you took a big vacation with the kids without her. Is my dad's 80th birthday and I was trying to find a way to see him. The kids only had 1 week off. I kind of blew my planning due to too many people involved. At the last minute she said she couldn't go. She was mad, but it's also very suspicious that this happened the day I left. Ethics question. Just curious, my wife cheated/had an affair with someone who apparently is a local AA group leader of some kind. She's been an alcoholic for at least 3 years since an accident involving the death of her son. Though I feel she's 100% to blame. It also seems rather predatory for someone of any stature in AA to make a move on somebody that's not currently sober and in crisis. Not to mention she's new to AA for less than 1 year. I get how the birds and the bees work, so no need to explain, but I still would consider taking advantage of someone by using AA as a step-off point for an affair. What are other people's thoughts? There aren't any leaders, but he might have been the chairperson, which is only a volunteer role where you read a few cues from a laminated card, opening the meeting, when to ask people to share, cueing everyone to close with the serenity prayer at the end. What he did kind of broke 2 unspoken rules as well as infidelity, which of course is viewed as selfish, and hurting others, which is against our code. One is that people in their first year of sobriety should never date. Getting a year of sobriety gets their self-esteem higher so they aren't preyed on, and 13th stepping, which is using AA as a place to find hookups. I'm so sorry for the hell this has caused you. Al-Anon, the support group for loved ones of alcoholics, probably has more than a few people who have been put through what you were and came out the other side intact. Thanks. This may be a side note, but I have learned online that there are indeed groups with leaders. People in these groups can remain as chair for months or even years straight. The dangers of this are obvious, and it is believable to me that the person in this situation might be such a long-term chair. The side note up there? They chair a meeting. It's being of service. It's called taking a commitment. It entails being there early, setting up, cleaning up, reading the printed announcements, etc., handing out literature, putting away literature, and many other things. There really is a board of directors and it's entirely civilized. We have traditions. Great meetings to learn about AA and principles. There are no leaders. Your observation is incorrect. If someone is in a chair position on Tuesdays at 5 p.m., that means they commit to holding the meeting so others may attend. And if they are doing it for months, it usually means no one else is interested in committing to it. 13th stepping, as it's called, there are 12 steps, is disgusting, but it happens. Some are sicker than others, as they say. Newly sober people shouldn't be involved with anyone for a year. Married people who are newly sober are suggested to not make any major motions with regard to their marriage for at least a year. There are no laws, but rather suggestions. Not everyone is keen on following. I mean, we are talking about drunks here. We're usually pretty defiant. Well, before working to get better, be better, do better through the steps. 13th steppers are definitely frowned upon. You learn real quick who the predatory men and women are. I stayed clear. I didn't go to AA to find a date, I went to stop killing myself. Plus, it's never a good idea to shit where you eat if you ask me, but I digress. I'm really sorry you are going through this. Not spiritually sound behavior on either parts there, if you ask me. I feel bad that you got caught in the middle of it. Al-Anon is a good place for you to get support of your own. Take care of you. There's a chapter entitled To the Wives in the big book you may be interested in reading. What exactly is 13th stepping / a 13th stepper? Can you further clarify? Just curious. I've never heard of this term. It's when someone who has been sober a while, old-timer, hits on a newly sober, less than a year, or newcomer, person. I've seen both men and women guilty of this. Unethical for sure. Where can I find these women? Ha 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 ho. Woman facepalming, such thirsty. Ah, I see. Ugh, that is awful. I haven't seen any of this myself, I'm a newcomer, but thank you for explaining. I was specifically speaking about meetings where people do not get to volunteer to step up to the chair position. There are meetings where the founder or someone else maintains the position for years. Yep, 'cause no one else ever volunteers. And those that do are newer members that forget to open the meeting, go back out, or don't meet the responsibilities in other ways. Then the founder has to resume opening / chairing the meeting again. If you read my comment, you will see I was talking about meetings where one cannot volunteer. But what I described sounds equally dysfunctional. If it is not possible to find one person to volunteer as chair at least 1 month out of the year, that says no one attending finds that meeting worthwhile. True, but I'm referring to the small groups in my town. I knew it would get complicated when I became GSR for my small home group, which previously didn't have one for years, when I overheard one woman say to another, "It's good someone's finally in charge." I approached and reminded them I was just the group's representative at service meetings. But everyone still treated me as the chief cook and bottle washer. The group has about 30 members, with between 8 to 15 showing up at an average meeting. The group has 3 noon meetings a week. It kept me sober too, and I met a lot of great people and learned a lot of lessons during the 2-year commitment. Sorry this happened. Firstly, there are no AA leaders, which is a misconception. Each group is run by a democratic vote by anyone who wants to join that group. Secondly, yes, predators exist and newcomers in AA are vulnerable, and that kind of behavior is usually viewed by AA members with the disgust that you probably feel as well. Yes, sorry I'm using my own terminology. He's very involved, let's say. Not sure how it works. Anyone see this before? Grief. When I first met my wife, I had no idea she was an alcoholic. She would get overly drunk at parties, but that was about it. After a car accident where her son died, she has been drinking daily. That was 4 years ago. I did everything I could, no Al-Anon, to get her to stop. The drinking continued daily for 4 years, at least 3 of which she drank almost every day. About 9 weeks ago I caught her cheating on me with a guy she met at AA. A real 13th stepping winner, but apparently a true advocate for AA. She told me she wanted a divorce and last week moved her stuff out. The absolutely weird part is she stopped drinking 2 weeks into the affair and has been sober since. It feels weird to have dealt with a problem like this only to have her stop drinking after she literally destroyed the relationship. I'm just wondering if anyone's been through something similar. And what the end result was. Does this kind of sobriety hold? Not sure if she's trying to impress him or if it's a real effort. But after a 4-year struggle, it seems weird to end with her sober after destroying the relationship in a way only an addict could. The fact that she started a relationship in AA means to me she is not at all actually healed. I am so sorry. But that relationship sounds like a disaster in the making. It is a short-term replacement and not actually looking at herself. Hang in there. Thanks. It's the weirdest thing. I started going to Al-Anon as soon as it happened. It helps to understand it a bit, but the fact that she got sober soon after is the weirdest thing ever. I can't say it helped me appreciate AA considering how this happened. I am sure. I just know that in my work on myself I have found out that basically alcoholics have zero self-esteem. And if you are a kind, loving, open partner trying to make it work, they may not know how to truly look at themselves and awaken to the intimacy involved in that. A relationship is a mirror. Once again, my Q has immediately jumped into something else and then called me still, etc. Once their new relationship energy wears off, she will probably call you. I used the time away to heal my heart and basically read about their minds because it made me see I have so much to offer and this person simply cannot receive it TBC of their own unhappiness. I know when people say the alcoholic is not capable of love, it stings but also feels lame. But it is true. They are a mess. Thanks for the words of wisdom. Your clarity helps. It is not you. There is nothing you can say or do right now except heal yourself from a painful experience. I told myself call me when you figure your shit out, and that was that. She's 42 years old. Had problems her whole life. I'm guessing call me when you figure your shit out is just a figure of speech at this point, smiley face. Late 40s here too. My feelings shifted the more I worked on me and the disease. I see he is just not the person who I thought he was. I still have like 2% hope one day he figures it out. I wish I did not feel so much hurt. That is what I work on. Thank you. Your explanation makes a lot of sense. No problem. We are not crazy. I can only speak from my experience and you know your situation best. However, for me it would be impossible to believe she's actually sober. Emo, it's extremely unlikely. I have a hard time believing it too. But I'm pretty good at both sniffing these things out. And I haven't been able to find anything. She moved out the other day, so I have no way of telling it at this point. I guess they don't care at this point. She's on a ton of prescription medicines, mostly antidepressants, so who knows. I haven't seen that exactly, but I can relate with feeling used and abused. That sounds about right. That's what my brain feels like right now. Like somebody dumped the whole mess on my lap to deal with. Yeah, the alcoholic brain blames the outside world for everything that goes wrong, so they expect everyone else to change or fix it. The people closest to them get most of the blame because of proximity. It's worse if they are also on weed because the paranoia causes another layer of complexity. They're crazy and don't know it, and it causes everyone around them who tries to help to also go crazy because the emotions stay the same but the story keeps changing. Sick and tired of this feeling. Rant. I feel like I've been running around in an emotional hamster wheel for 2 weeks. Been trying to get back together with my wife of 10 years. She cheated on me while I was away on vacation with the kids, see recent post. I don't know why, but my tendency has been to want to stay together. Partially due to a family tragedy that happened 3 years ago. She has waved a bit, but she is now sticking with her wanting a divorce. I'm pretty sure the reason she is wanting it is that she is still with the guy. They have seemed to put things on hold till she moves out. However, I caught her last night voice texting that she wanted to see him soon. This just sickens me, and her lack of shame is bizarre. None of the things that work with a normal person seem to work. It's as if she is under a spell. Things that make no sense seem to make sense to her. Slowly she has been twisting the problem into a problem with me. How can so many people do this to people they love? Has anyone given this thought? What is it about cheating that gets the cheater high like this? It's so strange. So bizarre. Has anyone ever successfully cracked through this emotional block? Edit, to help clarify what I'm actually asking. The last year of my marriage I was discarded. She turned into a different person. I was unaware of the affair that she had going on. I was too busy trying to fix all the things she said that was wrong with me. I was scared my family was gonna be torn in two. Scared of not seeing my kids half the time, and losing my stepdaughter if the divorce happened. Gonna tell you straight up, the woman you married is gone. She's in the affair fog. She's not coming back. She's someone you will never trust again. While she's in the affair fog, go file. If she wants to spend time with the affair partner, get her to sign a custody agreement that's at least 50-50 if not more in your favor. Get her to move out. Affair fog, or this is just who she is and was willing to hide it when she cared. It's a bit of both. The affair fog is when the affair is new, they are consumed with thought of the affair partner, thinking they are perfect. Or as it used to be called, lust. Or limerence. It's all the same, but affair fog is the most descriptive term. Her lack of integrity enables the affair to start. Affair fog fuels her behavior once it starts. So she is with someone else, loves someone else, and wants a divorce. Your relationship is dead and gone. You do you and take care of yourself. Lawyer up, divorce, and start your new life. I'm sorry you have to go through this, it's not fun. Truth. Tough but accurate, the ugly truth. He needs to write her off. She is in fantasy land where unicorns fart skittles. Just butterflies over her new BF. Gag. That will come crashing down before long. The reality of life settles in. Her new BF is not quite like he seemed. She'll attempt to keep you in the wings as plan B when her current love of your life fizzles into a mess. File man. Don't be a plan B even if not a plan B. Be prepared for divorce. File first. Sorry. Yeah, either way my timer is ticking. Once I'm out I'm out. I'm trying to hold it together for the family at this point. But seems to be making things worse and turning things so that I'm somehow to blame. She is only blaming you and making you look bad so she looks good and justified for her cheating. Don't take the bait. Take the bull by the horns. File. Be strong for the kids. Begin the separation and have your STBXW sign anything as part of the divorce while her head is in the fog. Do not take the blame for her crappy choices. She could have come to you with these issues to get resolved. Instead she decided a BF would be better. Yep, her crappy choice. Not your fault. I've literally said to her that I would work on anything, knowing that some of this issue is mine. If she simply had come to me with an ultimatum about her issues I would have said the same thing. But now it just makes me look like a wimp. Like I said before, I feel like the more I work towards the middle, the more it supports her ego and the more she moves away. What you're doing is called the pick-me dance. Stop doing it immediately. It actually has the opposite effect that you're hoping for. It makes you look weak and reinforces her belief that the affair partner is the better man, which is why she's moving away at a faster pace. Pick-me usually associated with cheating spouses. The betrayed spouse believes that by doing extra and trying to make up for perceived lack of attention by the wayward spouse, this gives the cheater a sense of entitlement and power because they could say anything low or demeaning and the pick-me dancer will do it. Meanwhile the cheater's heart is with the affair partner. This can apply to any situation where one partner has a current partner and new partner, and the current one will do anything to keep them. Please, read the above comment from Pay Wyatt slowly and carefully because of its profoundness. Any desperate move on your part from here on out to project strength and decisiveness has the tendency to net you the exact opposite of what you are seeking. Your wife is gone and any attempt at winning her back only reinforces her perception of your utter weakness as a man she'd like to be with in the future. No amount of effort will make someone that already made you a less than ideal option view you as priority. And it doesn't matter how much you try to demonstrate to them that they are a priority to you. You're right. And I guess that makes the dude that came into my house a bold and brave man. I would never do this to someone. I don't have a bone in my body that even would want to do it. I guess to a cheater that just makes me weak. Hopefully there's someone out there I'd appreciate honesty and hard work. You and her are completely incompatible. It doesn't matter if she repents and comes crawling back on her hands and knees. She's one to think this kind of behavior is okay. Stand up for yourself, not the relationship. Look at it this way, the rest of your household is the same as it ever was. She has decided not to be a part of it. You need to look at preserving the rest of your household and recognizing that she doesn't want it. That means your love, respect, kindness, affection, consideration, it's all wasted on her. She's not your wife anymore. In fact, until you divorce her, she's the enemy. Divorce and a man from a no-fault state. Advice. I don't know if this is the correct place to post this, but this forum has been a lifesaver over the last 3 months, so I'd like to get people's opinions. You can look back at my horror show Cheater Story if you want for context. So I started the process of divorce literally before D-Day, when I knew something was going on, and her response was to ask for a divorce. This woman has been with me for 10 years. I owned the house before I met her for almost a year. For context, she cheated on me 3 months after we got married with her ex-husband. She's been a very hard person to deal with over the years, mostly because of her drinking and a seeming addiction to chaos. 4 years ago her child, my stepson, died in a car accident and she began drinking daily. I was the only person in the room with her after her child died. I had to notify my young children about the death, toughest thing in my whole life, had to stand beside her in court and defend her against the local police department's attempt to prosecute her for the accident. These are just a few of the things that happen while we're together. It ended with her having a 6-sex affair with a dude who she's leaving me for. Now as I proceed into the divorce, I find I'm living in a state where infidelity means nothing in the legal process. Even though I dedicated all my money to my children and the house, and she dedicated all her money to tattoos and making herself happy, she wants a 50-50 split. At very least 50% of the house that I owned before I met her. Besides the obvious ethical issues, I'm wondering if anyone has been in this situation before. How does one deal with the mental gymnastics of giving a person who cheated on you 50% of a house? After going through the maths, I realized she did contribute to the household financially, but it was less than the average person pays for rent in this area. I've spent countless weekends and countless days after work working on this house. At most, I think she helped me paint for like a week. Has anyone been through this? Has anyone had any luck fighting back against this injustice? Has anyone ever looked at changing infidelity laws in their states, not for me but for future chumps? I feel like if someone hired me to paint a fence and I didn't show up to paint it, I could be sued. But if you get married, try to live an honest life, and then have your partner choose to screw another guy in your house, everyone wants to be fair. Just looking for other people's opinions on how to deal with this aspect of infidelity? Or if they've had the same experience, how did it turn out? Edit, typo. Get yourself a shark of a lawyer. There are attorneys that only have male clients in divorce. I'm pretty sure I did that. But even he keeps lowering my expectations about the way things happen in this state. How long ago did the cheating happen? I'm at like 10 weeks now. If you married in your state, then file a divorce in that state. That was her address before abandoning you and cheating. I live in Nebraska, which is a no-fault state, but fault can still be brought to the table. Another thing you should try is getting eyewitness testimony of family or friends that saw her behavior. That helped me get custody of my children, because my wife was bipolar and borderline and was not fit to parent. Best of luck. I am about to be dealing with the same thing. I filed, WH hasn't been served yet. in a no-fault state, but my lawyer filed for fault, adultery, and is asking for me to get more than 50%. If you have proof that it was sexual, you can file for fault. You need to find a lawyer that will fight for you on that. Also, my husband is a drug addict. My life has been a living hell for 5 years because of that. Your lawyer can also file fault for cruelty. Substance abuse that is serious enough falls under that. Also, I have started filling out the financial paperwork. In the petition papers, they will list anything you owned prior to marriage as a separate estate. Mine did. Get a good lawyer, and if you owned the house before marriage, that might not be included in the marital assets to divide. Spend the money on the lawyer. This is your future you are fighting for. What state are you in? If you'd rather DM me, feel free to. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.